So,
X-Speed is down there, a mile down.
I think we have internet there.
That'd be something to check before we.
Yeah, it's straight in.
Good morning. Oh, you don't need to clap. Good morning. Welcome to Fountain Street Church. My name's Reverend Christopher. I remembered this week. I use he, him pronouns, and I have the privilege and the honor of serving as the acting senior minister here at Fountain Street Church. We are in the midst of our summer speaker series, a series put on by our Religious Services Committee. And this morning, it is, I'm just like boiling with excitement. It is my joy to welcome Jenny Kinney to our pulpit this morning as part of that series. Jenny and my husband Jonathan and I have a lot of history with one another, and so it's so exciting. And a very special milestone that Jenny and I were both talking about yesterday was that 4 years ago, she spoke in the summer series, and she was so nervous, and she was also someone that worked at our bookstore at the time, and so she said, would you play the piano that Sunday when I'm there? I didn't work here yet, but secretly I was also interviewing to work here. So if you ever wonder how life's going to go and you decide to just let it go because you can't control it, here we are. So it's wonderful to have you with us. Thank you. And it's my honor to welcome each and every one of you to worship here. If you're joining us from home, welcome. I know many of us are without power right now, and so perhaps you will be joining us weeks from now when you finally decide you can sit down and watch it. But welcome. You are equally a part of this congregation where love and justice and inclusion are the shared work of our liberating faith. As we prepare our hearts for worship with one another and to hear the words from Jenny, I invite you to breathe with me as we prepare for worship with this invitation. It is inspired by the song, Come, Come, Wherever You Are. Get yourselves comfortable. You have nowhere else to be right now. And hear this invitation. Come, come, wherever you are and whoever you are. Do you hear that familiar voice calling you, calling us? That voice that calls us together here today in this room that is made holy and sacred by our presence and by the sacred breath that we share in our singing and in our speaking and in our silence. That voice which calls us to remember that we are not alone, because we are woven together and we are linked as part of the human family, woven into the tapestry of life. And just as we have been called to be together with one another in this hour of worship, we are also called to act as the voice and the heart and the hands of another call. The call to walk with the wanderers, the call to sing and dance with the worshipers, the call to proclaim the memory of those who've taken their leave from us. And so hold one another in this time. Be held in this time, for we are here together this morning and always. So welcome. Welcome to worship. Welcome to the place we have called one another to be. Welcome. We have a tradition of beginning our services together with a hymn in one voice with that ancient spirit and the contemporary spirit alike. Please join in the hymnal on page 324, Where My Free Spirit Onwards Leads. You can find that in 324, and as you're able, stand and join together in one voice.
Morning, everyone. I'm going to start with a reading by Maya Angelou called The Human Family. I note the obvious differences in the human family. Some are serious, some thrive on comedy. Some declare their lives are lived as true profundity, and others claim they really live the real reality. The variety of our skin tones can confuse, bemuse, delight, brown and pink and beige and purple, tan and blue and white. I've sailed upon the 7 seas and stopped in every land. I've seen the wonders of the world, not yet one common man. I know 10,000 women called Jane and Mary Jane, but I've not seen any two who really were the same. Mirror twins are different, although their features jibe, and lovers think quite different thoughts while lying side by side. We love and lose in China. We weep on England's moors and laugh and moan in Guinea and thrive on Spanish shores. We seek success in Finland, are born and die in Maine. In minor ways we differ, in major we're the same. I note the obvious differences between each sort and type, but we are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. We are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. We are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike.
Every week we give space for meditation and prayer, resisting the energy and the noise and sometimes the chaos of the outer world so that we can cultivate peace within our inner world. And so you are invited in the ways that are authentic and meaningful to you to join us in cultivating that space in this moment. This morning, rather than offering an extemporaneous prayer, we have a prayer that is written by Ellen Bass, who took some cues from Maya Angelou's reading that Jenny just shared with us. And so I invite you to hear these words from Ellen Bass as our prayer this morning. Will you breathe in with me and find stillness in this time of prayer? My friends, pray to whomever you kneel down to. Jesus nailed to his wooden or plastic cross, his suffering face bent to kiss you. Buddha still under the tree in the scorching heat. Adonai, Allah, raise your arms to Mary that she may lay her palm on our brows. Offer up our praise and our prayers to the Queen of Heaven and the Mother of Earth. Then pray to the bus driver who takes you to work. On the bus, pray for everyone riding that bus, for everyone riding buses all over the world. Drop your token, swipe your pass, and pray. Waiting in line for the movies, for the ATM, for your latte or your croissant, offer your plea. Make your eating and your drinking a supplication. Make your slicing of carrots a holy act. Each translucent layer of the onion a deeper prayer yet. To the hawk or wolf or the great whale, pray. Bow down to the terriers and shepherds and Siamese cats, fields of artichokes and elegant strawberries. Make the brushing of your hair a prayer, every strand its own voice of the choir, singing to the choir of your soul. As you wash your face, the water slipping through your fingers, a prayer, water, softest thing on earth, gentleness that wears away a rock. If you're hungry, pray. If you're tired, pray. Pray to Gandhi and Dorothy Day, Shakespeare and Sojourner Truth. When you walk to your car, to the mailbox, to the video store, let each step be a prayer in all that keeps our legs, that we do not blow off anyone else's legs, or crush their skulls, or oppress their souls and spirits. And if you're riding on a bicycle, or a skateboard, or a wheelchair, in each revolution of its wheels, a prayer to the earth that so too revolves. May there be less and less and less harm and more love for one another. With each breath in, even this breath now, take in the faith of those who have believed when their belief seemed foolish, who persevered. And with each breath out, cherish their steadfast hope. Beloved, pull weeds for peace. Turn over in your sleep for peace. Feed the birds, each shiny seed that spills onto the earth for peace. Shovel leaves or snow or trash from your sidewalk. Make a path to your neighbor, a path to your brother and your sister, a path to the restoration of the human family. May it be so. Amen. We have a tradition here that is a prayer embodied through the weekly ingathering of the offering. This is a way we tangibly show up and we connect with one another, with our neighbor, with our brother, with our sister. This is a way in which we put our love into action by trusting those gifts into the outer world. Because at Fountain Street Church, 50% does indeed stay here to keep this 153 ministry of love and justice going forward, but 50% goes directly outside of these walls so that the work of love and justice and restoration and the revolution can indeed be mobilized by those we trust with those gifts. And so it is in the spirit of generosity and gratitude and love and family that your gifts will now be most graciously received.
Hi again. I'm so thrilled to be here this morning. It's really great to see so many familiar faces and some new ones too. My name is Jenny Kinney. I use she, her pronouns, and I just feel really honored to be invited to be a part of this summer speaker series again. I, as Christopher mentioned, have a long history here. And so when I was invited to speak as a part of this series again after 4 years ago, where I spoke and I got to look back on that speech, that was an amazing trail down, memory trail. I was just given an opportunity to think about how much this institution has watched me grow up and change, and Christopher too. He was my pianist all those years ago, and now we stand here again at vastly different moments in our lives, with Christopher having my back, like always, helping me to feel a little less nervous. Some of you may not know, I worked here in my early 20s as volunteer ministries coordinator. So this place has seen me through my early career as a community organizer, my transition into the role of owner at Books and Mortar, all sorts of personal accomplishments and hardships, and now, as a very pregnant person, preparing for my first child and building my family in a new way. So thank you to all of you in some part have been a part of this, of watching me grow up, of supporting me as I grew up, and that means the world to me. Many months ago, when I was invited to be a part of this speaker series by Carol, I knew I wanted to talk about kinship and what it has meant to me to build family and community through my political organizing, through the bookstore, COVID, and through my new journey into motherhood. I was very newly pregnant at the time, and I was curious to see how my thoughts and feelings on kin would change as I evolved and grew into my pregnancy. I could not have possibly predicted all that I would learn in what feels like the longest and shortest 8 months of my life. I'm sure anyone who's been pregnant in this room can relate to that feeling. Time is so strange. So I'm going to tell you some stories about what has happened in my life lately in order to explain why I think about family and kin the way that I do. My stories will also bring us into a conversation about reproductive justice, which is a topic that's been at the center of my personal and political life experience. And I hope I can kind of explain how all of these things connect in my mind and in my heart. So when Christopher and I spoke a few days ago about this service, he asked me how I was doing, and I was totally honest with him. I told him about how exhausted I've been feeling, like a kind of tired that is brand new to me, and has been building over a long course of time. In the past year, just to give you all a little snapshot of my world, I have moved and expanded my small business, Books and Mortar. I've fallen in love. I've written most of a master's thesis, and I will finish it. I've moved in with my lovely partner and his amazing son, Wesley. Experienced a break-in, moved into a new home after that break-in, contracted COVID, discovered I was pregnant during quarantine, hired 2 new employees, lived out 8 months of pregnancy, became a part of a new family, and accepted a new job. That's a teaser. I'll explain more in a bit. And this year is set against a backdrop of the 2 years previous, when I was running a small business during a global pandemic, surviving the Trump presidency, and in my notes I wrote Trump pregnancy. Oh, geez. Surviving the Trump pregnancy and going through a divorce. So I come before you today tired, but I also come here with more knowledge of what it means to build family and kin through tough times than I've ever had before. I also come here a happier and more whole person than I was 4 years ago, largely because of the family that I've managed to build. When I think about kinship, I see a beautiful, wide, all-embracing ideal. I imagine a bright and open home, somewhere that offers peace and community to a wide variety of family, friends, animals, plants, and ideas. It is with this idea of kinship in mind that I was so deeply inspired watching Christopher and Jonathan build Books and Mortar. Christopher and Jonathan made me their family pretty much right away and showed me the kind of love, mentorship, and kindness that I can only hope to emulate as a small business owner and as a human being. But they did more than that. They created a space that was built around cultivating kinship for all. Books and Mortar has radically expanded my imagination around what advocacy and justice can look like in an environment intentionally designed for community building and critical thought. I've never seen that happen before in my life. I haven't seen something from start to now. Not that I got to see the very start of you guys wherever you were in Chicago imagining Books and Mortar, but it's been a joy to see the amount of the journey that I have, and I've never had the experience before just seeing from start to finish what it means to build a community based around family and justice. So thank you for that. When I think about kinship, oh gosh, I'm gonna cry at this part. I think about the moment I told my partner, Josh, that I was pregnant. It was a big surprise, and I was pretty scared. He saw me walk into our room with big round eyes and a pregnancy test in hand, and he smiled, not in a pushy way. It was a gentle smile, a smile that said he loved me and it was going to be okay, no matter what I chose. He assured me that it was okay to be scared, but because he knew me, he also assured me that it was okay to be happy, to embrace the moment and really be in it, because he understood how long I'd been waiting to become a mom. I got to watch him proudly call his sisters to share the news, still totally shocked and teary and giddy. And I hadn't known a love like that before. Josh has taught me an immense amount about what it means to build family based on a foundation of true love and care. And by way of Josh, I've met his marvelous family, his parents and sisters, the incomparable Wesley, Wesley's mom Melanie and her partner Graham, all of whom have pulled me into their warm embrace as family practically overnight. When I think about kinship, I imagine the bookstore in early November. I see lines of people down the block ready to move books and furniture over to our new location. It had just stormed, and we didn't know what to expect. Maybe a couple people ferrying books across the street for a few hours, and we ended up moving everything, books, furniture, and all, in under an hour. I see 6 of my friends at our new location crowded around a jigsaw trying to sort out how it worked, because the only man who knew how to use it, my dad, was trapped in COVID quarantine. But we learned, one mistake and one call to my dad at a time. I also see my dad pre-COVID spending his evenings painting the walls of the new building, often with my mom by his side, snacks in hand, along with anything else I might need to retain my sanity. And I see the night of our grand opening, an evening filled with family, friends, slam poetry, unapologetic activism, wine, and a whole bunch of excitement over our new home. When I think about kinship, I see Wesley, who is my partner's son, on a playground, You're very good at making friends on playgrounds, but all it takes is a simple game or curiosity, and he is off, building connections with anyone excited about the same things that he is. I think so many of us have kids like that in our lives who are just so open and embracing of the entire world. And I'm talking the whole world. I'm talking like animals, insects, plants, other kids and adults. I can only imagine the healing that would happen for us and for the entire planet if we could embrace the kind of openness that I see Wesley display every day on the playground. When I think about kinship, I also imagine a culture of mutual aid that challenges all of us to face the full humanity of those around us and work together to build an environment in which everyone can survive and thrive. I think we're often lulled by the beauty and idyllic tone of a word like kinship, and we forget the radical actions that are demanded by simply being in genuine relationship with the world around us. When the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade just a few weeks ago, something flickered awake inside of me that had gone a little dormant, whether that be through exhaustion or cynicism or just pure anger. And because I found myself within such an extensive network of kin, I felt the pain of that decision in a new way. I felt the pain for myself, but I also felt the pain for my people. I know how my community is going to hurt because of the decision that was made at the Supreme Court not too long ago. And there's a new feeling there too. I know how my daughter will hurt having a girl. Building family is the most important work of our lives. It is sacred work. To take away someone's ability to choose how their family is being built, or to culturally or religiously shame someone for building a family in a different way from your own, is an irreparable violence. We must trust our parents, partners, children, siblings, and friends to reach within themselves and make their own decisions about how to build family, because they will find the most beautiful and true paths for themselves every time. Wouldn't it be amazing to see what they would build free from political, social, and religious shame? And I know I'm preaching to the choir here. But I still think these are really vital questions to ask ourselves. How can we take a love for our families, our communities, our kin, and translate it into activism, translate it into the work we do about the things we care most about? For me, one of those things is the movement for reproductive freedom. And when it comes to that movement, I firmly believe that we must begin to build a movement in an intentional and intersectional way that considers how various inequalities within our society contribute to a loss of reproductive freedom. A kinship activism mentality requires that we care for all, not just some. If there are mothers within our community who fear for their children's lives at the hands of the police, we do not have reproductive freedom. So I urge you, as new people begin to come in these doors, questioning and searching for a way to build a movement in the post-Roe world, because they will, this is Fountain Street, listen to them closely, engage them genuinely, break down any barriers that are preventing new family from being built right here. And if building new family in this movement means that we experience some criticism and have to slow down to contemplate the ways in which our movements and institutions have been historically exclusionary, let's do it. Now is the time. We have to. And if we don't have a future here. And I'm very much here for that work and conversation. As of last week, I accepted a new job, and y'all are some of the very first people to know. As of August 1st, I will be taking on a new role at NARAL as Midwest Regional Organizer. Yay. Thanks. For those of you who aren't familiar with NARAL, it's a national abortion rights advocacy nonprofit. And I'm both thrilled and terrified to take on that work right now, just as our country is embroiled in the fiercest battle around abortion that many of us have lived to see. I'm taking this leap, and I'm by the way still going to be owner of Books and Mortar, just in a more part-time capacity. So I'm adding this in addition to bookstore work because I think the two are me. Like the combination of those two pieces of work feel very much like what I want to be doing in my soul. I'm taking this leap because I want to fight for this big thing that I believe in. But more than that, I want to fight for my people, my community, for my planet, for my daughter, and hopefully be a part of an emerging future where our bodily autonomy is not questioned, where we can build family when and how we choose, and where we have true love and respect for one another. So the next time many of you see me, I will be off on my motherhood and NARAL journey. I have no clue what the future holds, but I do know that what I've learned over the past year will carry me towards something beautiful. I believe that if I work to genuinely love and be in relationship with people and open myself up to them in vulnerable ways, good things will come. I also believe in our collective ability to create family, and by extension, a more just and equitable community. So thank you again so much for having me and inviting me to stop by on another leg of my life journey, and I'll see you on the other side.
It's good to have you back, Jenny. Thank you. Friends, we are going to respond with our sending hymn. That is hymn number 10, so it's right at the beginning of your gray hymnals. Hymn number 10, Immortal Love. You are invited to join in one voice as we sing. Friends, thank you so much for being with us this morning. Thank you, Jenny, again for your words. We are so grateful for you. We're so grateful. We'll have to have you back to see how crazy life got in the next 4 years. And friends, thank you for being with us. Thank you for joining us from your homes or your offices or your cars or months from now. And thank you to everyone who made this service possible, our AV tech crew, Melissa Jose and our custodial staff, our ushers. Thank you, everyone. We are richly blessed for this ministry that we share with one another, and in the kinship we are cultivating week after week. Jenny is going to lead us in our blessing, and then she's going to go to the lobby during our postlude. You are encouraged to say hello to her out there. Her wonderful family and kin are all here as well, so I'm sure you'll do the Fountain Street thing and hound them too, which is wonderful. You've been warned.
Morning. All right. We leave this gathered community, but we don't leave our connection. Our concerns, our care for each other, our service to each other, to the world, and to our faith continues. Until we are together again, friends, be strong, be well, be true, be loving.